I think we're live. Alright, everybody. I think we're live. I think we're rolling. So, we're brought here tonight at the City of San Diego Metropolitan Operations Complex, MOC2, and San Diego Community Power is having their meeting here tonight. There's a couple of things on the agenda that I think are very interesting. Preliminary guidelines to data centers and integrations and, you know, full system outlook. So they have some budget stuff. They have quite a few things. And the reason why I'm here is at the last meeting they held, it was behind a locked door. And so, in my opinion, I think they didn't allow the right of access, like open access. So we'll pursue that separately, but here tonight we've had issues with JPA wastewater holding meetings here, and there's a requirement to sign in to attend the open public meeting, which is a Brown Act violation. So I've already told them that they violated the Brown Act, and it sounded like their attorney was going to work on it. But regardless, they broke the Brown Act, and so that's a violation that needs to be corrected. And here we are tonight at that same location with a different agency. And so we're going to double check that this facility is holding adequate availability to the public. One, not being behind locked doors. Two, not requiring a signature to enter the meeting or ID. I mean, they were like, show your ID or sign in. And I'm like, show my ID. Like, I don't even have to show my ID to vote. The heck are you talking about? We're at an open Brown Act meeting. Come on. So, anyways, it's the lowdown. And I wanted to get here before, you know, everybody starts rolling in. So, we got about, I don't know, I'm going to try to go in maybe 10 minutes. Maybe. But we're just going to be, I don't know, asking representatives as they come in what they think. And we'll be checking. I'll move the camera over there so you can see the front desk. And we'll try to see who signs in. We might just go in there and just stand in there, you know. But not trying to capture anyone signing if they want to, but I need to capture them signing the paper if they are. I mean, the paper should say not required, voluntary, or something along those lines, and we could excuse the paperwork, right? But last time I checked with security, it was sign it, ID, or you're not going to be allowed in. So under duress of missing the meeting, that they're going to do things even though they know it's a violation to hold a meeting like that. You know, I don't know what the ramifications are going to be for them. Is it going to be that they're going to have to revisit every single item? Are they going to have to, you know, I don't know the end game. I just know there's issues. And then when I try to work with city staff and other agencies that are collaborative effort, they have people on these boards representing the city of Chula Vista, and I go to tell them that the members that are representing us are not finding this stuff, and so they may not even know, okay, which is, I don't know how they don't know. They must not be reading the paperwork, you know. Like, I even have a couple tonight. Regardless of whatever happens, you're going to hear a couple of things that they probably don't even know about, you know. And yeah, do I expect the paperwork to be correct? Yeah. Yep. It's like a bare minimum. So, stay tuned. We're going to be going inside in a couple minutes. There's a lot of other meetings going on today. City of San Diego. And Chula Vista's like in this cancel every meeting. So, you know, they don't want to do anything because end of year, the report goes in and then they start on next year's. But I think it's not till like July. So they just canceled all the last meetings, except for Human Relations Commission. So I think we're going to go to that one. But yeah, it's just one of those months. And luckily, you know, it gave me time to catch up and rest up a little bit. And then we're back out here today. So I do have some more chat integrations going. And so on Discord, the messages are supposed to forward. So we'll see if they come through, see what type of system this works out to be. Before I was using like a web browser, and I'd have to reset it every like, I don't know, every time the stream dies. And so it was inconvenient for me because I'm out in the field and I have to reset the browser, and it's not the easiest thing. So hopefully Restream has some better work systems, and then I'm using another system to ease it into them. So hopefully this stream's better than last year. Like, I'm going to be making public comment on a few items, and some of them are to raise concerns about you know, where the funding's going to different people, and some specific wording that, you know, they like to say is the goal. Instead of a realistic goal, it's said a unrealistic one. So, you know, if they can tell me a couple of things, you know, maybe. But I don't think they want anyone to know the couple of things. So, you know, I'd love to see it, but we'll see if they, you know, give any information. This is the Community Advisory Committee. So this isn't the board of directors, but yeah, it's a meeting. So I do know they offer virtual, I think, right? Yeah, Microsoft Teams. It's on the agenda. And had some issues where the links weren't clicking. So like, if you do a Zoom and you require a signature, is that the same Brown Act violation of requiring a signature? So if you set up the meeting, you can do verified only users. And so that means you have to log in compared to just writing your name and logging in as a guest. And so, in my opinion, that's what they did last time. And they didn't know. And that's why I couldn't get on except for the meeting ID. And then I was already logged in. So, there's technical things with the internet. And, maybe the diagnosing of problems is very difficult. I get it, So, but the more I can raise awareness to these issues, hopefully they can get fixed faster, So, like 3 more minutes and we'll try to head in. How you doing?
Good. What's up?
Beautiful day.
Indeed.
Can't complain. I've been to so many meetings. I've had CVPD line up at a door, pretend it's a secure area, and then I go right around them. I've gone to meetings where they check the commissioners. I've gone to meetings where they don't check the commissioners. I've gone to meetings where they check everyone but me. It's just like I'm just here to record. Everybody knows that. But there's so many differences that'd be better if things were like more standardized, And there's already a system for it. They just gotta follow it. So I can only imagine how long they were having meetings at that other location in La Jolla, and they didn't ever verify whether she posted it or didn't. I mean, go figure. I show up on the last one 2 days before, no posting. Day of the meeting, no posting. And then it's like, dog ate my homework, And so there should be a requirement that if a board member is going to do it from their house, that they post a picture or, provide evidence that they're doing it. It's just to help them cover their own Brown Act violations, right? So if they don't do it, that's a problem. And so proactiveness to help the community members is the lack I'm seeing right now. And so, it's great that you're good at your job and you do all the numbers and all this and that, but the meetings are just as important. So. Alright, let's try to go in. Usually it's like 15 minutes before, but whatever. How you doing? Thank you. Appreciate it. Looks like everybody's trying to comply today. Definitely a big difference. So they got full agenda, which is good. Because at the other meeting, they didn't have this. They didn't have this. They didn't have this. Right? And these are standard for the meetings. And so if they're going to allow members to do it at their house, they better figure this part out. That's just to show you what a regular meeting looks like, you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
A big difference here. You know, I've been here before and been this open. Because this meeting is during a certain time period where maybe the operations are different.
I cannot wait to see it. What one of my directors for description of just working in his office, like just knows the ecosystem and in Chicago, like all the energy, all of it's like Midwest.
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah.
So you're like, this is America.
Yeah, yeah, for real, for real. It has like that same. They're all on.
Exactly. Makes sense. It's like, I want to experience that. My brother went last year and he loved it. I need to move here. I was like, it's cheaper.
That's what I said. How are you? So
I will let them know.
I didn't know, and I originally booked my ticket.
Happy Christmas.
So Vaughn will be like,
Oh.
Well, no, but you have to hold it. This is off. Right.
No light.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a team meeting, so you won't hear it.
Oh, yeah, thank you for
Yeah, it's kind of a secret as far as logistics. Like shopping. When you say shopping, I think that would be a little pick me up. No, I did. I tried here at the headquarters. Yeah, so I left.
Oh, wow.
Hey Rob, just giving you a heads up that
I'm not going to talk about.
okay.
I mean, okay, we're just buying their so.
I want to know. Yeah. I was like, are you going
Wow. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, so we moved one of the risks. We went for a hike. Sure. I was like, but it was one of those things I didn't do much. Just enjoyed Went to Robert.
I hope I'm not here with meetings for license here. That's the same spot. You know?
We don't know when it's going to come. But there are signs everywhere. Yeah. And here. That's it. I know. That's great. I know. 90%.
We do have all recruit. I know. And actually, I owe you an email.
Hello.
So I'm going to send it to you.
I just want to introduce myself. I'm Jen. Robert, nice to meet you officially.
So far. Last one on this side. It's going to be on the other side. Sister-in-law.
So it was like, oh, this is my favorite time of year, Boston. Yeah, and we're not. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good, and we avoided World Cup.
Yeah. This spot. Yeah. Yeah.
Lengthy meeting. Yeah, it's been a pleasure to serve.
Biggest hurdle.
We felt pretty they rescheduled the meeting just for me. Yeah. Jen. For just a second. I've got an opportunity. Jack told me to talk. I was going to talk to and Jack said, talk to you first. So I'm going to work the city ordinance regulation. It's kind of an organization. And they're doing a seminar this summer. Jack, I did talk to Jen about that opportunity. It's put on by Samuel Lawrence Foundation on renewable energy. And they are going to have a number of people on there's a series of panels. But the one on renewable energy is going to have kind of a corporate focus. I thought it'd be perfect to have somebody more information. I have not. I took it off when I came home. But I've more the national. I think so. It's been a World Cup of
I get it. All right.
the superhero players.
Are you trying to talk to Jack about soccer?
Yeah.
He only watched a little bit on that. I don't know how much. Oh, cool. Yeah, mine got right below it, which is. I can't find my videos.
I know. Big fan of hockey. And the field games.
Like to be a defender and have him running at you and show
You move.
Oh, yeah, well, now I remember Anthony. Yeah, big letters. I sure knew they didn't do it yet. How are you? How old is Anthony? Many years? I just did a migrant from Europe, so there were 70 years.
Maybe we started.
Well, we incorporated it in
40 years old.
It was part of San Diego.
I know.
Amy. That sounds good.
Sound is it live or is that reverse? That is off.
And the secret meaning of the red means an upward. All right, first.
Good to see you.
Okay, good evening, and welcome to the June 23rd, 2026 special meeting of San Diego Community Powers Community Advisory Committee. My name is David Harris. I represent the City of La Mesa on this committee. I welcome members of the public, San Diego Community Power staff, and committee members joining us in person and online today. Thank you to Community Power staff for making this in-person meeting possible, and the City of San Diego for accommodating us here at our old stomping grounds. I appreciate the members' flexibility in providing their availability to make it happen. And we have quite a full committee with one absent, so that's good. I will now call the meeting to order. Mari Hernandez will now call.
Committee Member Anderson? Committee Member Anderson?
Present.
Committee Member Emerson? Committee Member Gonzalez? Committee Member? Committee Lian?
Here.
Committee Member Hoyt?
Here by virtual, Madam Clerk, no one else is in my room.
Mr. Hoyt is participating remotely under a reasonable accommodation due to a disability. Mr. Hoyt, is there someone in the room with you, older?
No, I'm the only one.
Committee Member Santos? Committee
Here.
Committee Member Sumner? Committee Member Basalakis?
Present.
Secretary Pike?
Here.
Vice Chair Montero Adams?
Present.
And Chair Harris.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Let's all stand and I'll lead us in. Ready?
I to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chair, before you proceed, can I ask all the members to please turn on your mics when you speak? Red is off. Red is on.
Very good. We would moment to Kumeyaay Nation are the original inhabitants of the land now known as San Diego. Taking place today. We carry their ensuring that their traditions continue to gratitude and strength, and we stand with the Kumeyaay Nation, connected to our past and committed to a more just, sustainable, and resilient future for all. Okay, joining us this evening for her very first meeting is Molly Hintlian, who was appointed by our board of directors to represent the city of Encinitas. You may have met her at the picnic we hosted last month, but please join me in giving her a warm welcome. Molly, would you like to say a few words?
Well, I'm honored to represent Community Power for Encinitas, and I applied for this role because I'm passionate about energy and efficiency, smart home technology, and environmental stewardship. So I'm eager to bring a community perspective to help strengthen program adoption and impact. And I just want to note, I was an early adopter of Community Power, while enrollment for Encinitas was automatic. I did my research and remained opted in, and I've enjoyed being on Power. Thank you.
Welcome, Molly. Okay, a warm welcome is also in order for the following Community Power staff who recently joined the organization. Lun Hua, Information Systems Manager; Ben Erth, Program Manager; Dang, Information Systems Analyst. And introduce yourselves if you'd like to. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. My name is Lun Hua, a San Diego County resident for 35 years, and I like here. And my job title is Information Systems. My job responsibility is to help the agency and build a robust, world-class information ecosystem. My experience will take the agency's information system to the next level.
Good evening, thanks for having me. My name is Ben Erth. I started on Monday, 20 years of experience in running programs and doing policy work. I started my career here in San Diego at SDREO. If anybody's familiar with SDREO, we turned into the California Center for Sustainable Energy and the Center for Sustainable. I find many of my former colleagues, or graduates as I like to say, at a lot of these functions and working in energy and specifically at SDCP. But I started at CSE back in 2004, running an incentive program. I left CSE in 2020 and actually joined a residential solar installation company working as the policy director. And now I am back at SDCP running a solar and battery program. So it's kind of full circle. Anyways, thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to learning more.
Great.
Good evening, everybody. My name is David Gang. I am a San Diego native, born and raised. I was in the Marine Corps for 7 years, and in the last 6 years, I'm energy solutions, and now I've transferred over to San Diego Community Power. So I am IT systems analyst, and I'm here to help the system with the Dynamics 365 CRM system. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Staff has requested to pull from the regular agenda item number 13, which is San Diego Community Power Data Center Load Integration Guidelines, which will be heard at a later meeting. And I have requested that we will also post fiscal year 26-27 operating budget, 26-27 capital budget, and 27-31 capital investment plan before the rest of the items on the agenda to be withdrawn or reordered.
Consent items?
No. We're going to move on to that.
No other, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, very good. Okay, next up on the agenda, comments submitted before the committee meeting are emailed to all CAC members prior to the committee meeting and will be posted on the website at the beginning of the meeting.
Rob, please address the committee. You have 2 minutes.
Just San Diego Community Power appreciate it just like I do, so it's important to have these meetings though. I'd also like to thank San Diego Community Power staff for addressing issues that I've had in this room before, and it's a very open, thank you for that. You know, through many of the things you guys focus on, there's a lot of things that I focus on that are just different. And so I think coming together and doing it together will turn a better product for the public. And so I appreciate being able to work with you that may arise. I'll give you an example. This paperwork has been all year, right? And to check public access as a member who's representing your constituents of your cities, right? If you were to click the link that's at the very bottom of this agenda, it's San Diego Community Power Resource / or San Diego Community Power, but SD Community Power.org and if you click that, it takes you nowhere. So for things like this, I went through and just clicked the links, you know. But sometimes, and so for as long as this, I don't know, it's probably for that period of time, this link isn't, you know. And so I think it's only fair that I tell you these things. Here's a public comment form. There's actually 3 positions. There's opposed, and then there's neutral, right? And so these things allow the public to speak for themselves without having staff interpret what they mean out of it. And the reason why I bring this up is because I've gone through the meeting minutes of different meetings, and sometimes it's very detailed into what I'm saying. It's not so detailed. So it'd be great to just, like I said, have my...
Hey, Rob, your time's up.
Sorry, I couldn't see the clock.
Thank
so.
you.
Thank you.
We will now move on to the consent agenda. The consent calendar contains items that can be approved as a package without discussion unless a CAC member requests that an item be removed for separate. The CAC received staff reports for a consent agenda, and staff provided an opportunity to comments during briefings held prior to this meeting. Today's consent agenda includes 1, approval of the April 9th, 2026 CAC meeting minutes. 2nd, update on marketing, public relations, and local government. 3rd, update on customer operations. 4th, programs. 5th, update on power services. 6th, update, and 7th, distributed energy resources ad hoc committee report. Maury, do we have? Okay. And then
3 and 7, actually.
3 and 7. Okay.
Yeah, public comment first, and then.
Okay. Very good.
Because this is consent, there's just making sure, right? It's a procedural. I'm up to the information as much as you guys are. So if there is a, just a side note, I didn't hear the ask for the online comments if someone's putting up their hand. And so at a previous meeting, I was forgotten about for 2 items, and I just want to raise that concern in case someone is there. So when I went through the consumer report of how many people are going up and down in the to get to the plan that I'm on, which is like the base 50-50 is what it used to be called, 55, 45, whatever it is. But of people transferring to that plan, I think it's good to have a reality check to comes from plan, right? I think there's a lot of realistic outlook to people at nighttime and solar obstacles that we face, right? And I know we have some wind energy, and but I can see the water flow from the one stream to the reservoir, and then I can see the water flow from that reservoir, and then I can see it in the bill, right, for the agencies paying for it, right? The one thing I don't see is where does the energy come from, right? I understand they're in a form of credits or whatnot, but I think a lot of people have concerns, and that's why they're switching to the cheaper plan. The highest plan is 30 cents more to, I'm kind of spitballing, but it's more expensive to have 100% renewable. And so being as, the economics are right now, people are more switching to this plan. Well, I think that's something notable, right? With the declaration of going 100% renewable by 2035, I think we need to reconsider that position per the market. So thank you. I don't know where my time is again, so I'm kind of just guessing right now.
You have 1 minute left on this item.
Okay, thank you.
So if you can go to the next one.
Yeah, I won't waste your guys' time. I'll go to the next item. I appreciate you guys hearing me out on this, and I like the report because it gives me a good understanding of what they're switching to, and if they're switching to mine. So.
Thank you.
Are you speaking on item number 7 too?
Correct.
That was his comment on item 7, I believe.
There's 3, right?
You spoke on 3, right? And you're speaking on 7, right, Rob?
Right.
Or did you?
Did
Just
you address
comment.
public comment?
I thought, was that just a comment?
So
on
that's
item
what I was
7?
going to ask in the beginning, whether we were doing one consent comment for all items, or if I was getting per item. Normally, it's one comment.
It's 1 comment per item, that's
Right.
correct. So if you haven't spoken on 7, go ahead, please.
Okay.
We'll start the timer again for 3 minutes. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Moran. Go ahead.
Thank you. And some of this is just checks and balances, right? We want to make sure that anyone who's watching tonight knows they feel comfortable in here and talk to you guys. Like, this is the whole point, public to engage. And I'd like to say I wish more of the public would engage, but they're busy, they're working, they have families, so some of us gotta pick up the slack. For this item, so there's a lot of paperwork right here. I know my time's kind of going down, but if I could just go off of the distribution factor, the ad hoc committees. Okay, this is where I was going with that. So it removes the public input, right? And then you guys do things, and I don't want to say it wrong, but like outside of the public's view, right? And yes, it's convenient for members to be able to meet without telling. But I hope there is a of agencies, right? Ad hoc or not, there needs to be, like, you know, actual paper. They won't bring no paper ad hocs at Chula Vista. They'll just say, we're doing this. And I get no paperwork. And I'm like, come on, you guys. You can't write down a summary.
All right. Is there anyone on the committee who would like to remove any item from the consent agenda for a separate? Member Anderson.
To work.
It's working.
I'd like to pull information on them from staff.
Okay, well, 3's been pulled, so, and then 5 is the update on power services. Mr. Emerson.
I just want to make a note in response to your last comment, because there is a written report for. Yes. Okay.
I don't want to
In the
overspeak.
for clarification.
Yes.
Thank you, Larry. That's helpful for the public to know. Okay, so we have items 3 and 5 now that have been pulled. So,
I'll make a motion to adopt the rest of the consent calendar.
okay.
Can you speak into the mic, please?
Adopt the consent calendar, the remaining consented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a moment. Clerk, please call the roll.
Committee member Anderson.
Aye.
Anderson. Committee member Emerson.
Yes?
Committee member Gonzalez. Oh, he's not here. Committee member Hannan. Aye.
Would I abstain myself from item 1 because it's the meeting minutes and I wasn't
You
here?
don't have to, but you can
Okay.
if you wish.
Approve.
Committee member Hoyt. Committee member Hoyt, can you hear us?
Let's move on.
Okay. Please turn on your mic.
Aye.
Committee member Sclafani.
Aye.
Committee member Sumner.
Yes.
Committee member Vasilakis.
Aye.
Secretary Pike.
Aye.
Vice Chair Montero Adams.
Aye.
Chair Harris. Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, let's move back then to the pulled items. First, we'll do the update on customer operations. Member Anderson.
Yes. The primary purpose of San Diego Community Power is twofold. One is to provide clean, renewable. So I've got a couple of questions regarding whether we're making enough progress on 100. Is here our goal is to be 100% renewable energy by 2035. And I have two questions about that. do we have the capacity of Power 100 customers? And do we have programs that are encouraging customers 100 at capacity?
Chair Harris, if I can take that?
Yes, please.
Thank you for the question. Great question. We do have the capacity to meet the needs of other customers on Power 100. That is our ongoing plan as we move towards 2035. As mentioned, product, so it is our premium product. So as you know, we've got a lot of concerns about all of our customers in terms of where they are today, from an affordability standpoint, from a clean energy standpoint. So we've got multiple teams, including our programs team, our customer operations team, public affairs team, working with our customer on a day-to-day basis. So we're providing clear and transparent information both online and in person, in every forum that we're engaging information, all while trying to meet their needs, but also move to that clean energy future that we're all very serious about. So we do have the capacity, we have a number of efforts meeting customers where they are today.
Okay, just one quick follow-up on that. The goal of having 100% 35, that's just a goal. And if we continue to simply let the public opt down, and there's no move persuade them or to entice them up to Power 100, how are we going to be able to achieve that goal?
That's a great question. That planning is everything, right? So between now and 2035, we've got some planning, load forecasting activities to tie with, and so endeavor that we'll continue as we get a little bit more clear on how, while meeting the needs, the affordability needs of each of our customer segments, it'll be come along.
Appreciate Jack.
Yeah.
I'd like to chime in on that discussion. And this is just something my daughter sent me, so I'm going to just read this quote. It's verbatim. California's grid batteries, all throughout California, just shoved 12,000 system at once, as much power as 12 nuclear plants or 6 Hoover dams, covering 44% of the whole state at the exact hour it usually strains. So this is ongoing. We need to keep working on these kind of systems. And I'm glad to hear that we have a new staff with Eric was the last name again?
Eric.
That will be involved with our solar battery savings, because that all ties into moving us all forward to clean, renewable energy. Thank you.
Certainly the scaling up of battery storage is a game changer to meet that ambitious goal. And most of our power projects now have storage included in the power contract, so that's really key as well. Anyone else have comments on this item? Okay, let's move on then to item number on power service.
A vote on that first, or do you want to do it separately?
Can we do
We
them
can do it together.
Okay. Good question. Yes, Member Anderson.
Under item 5, we learned about new power plants in, I believe it's in Mexico, and I'm in favor of that. We're going to have some industrial size capacity as well as local rooftop and local wind and such to meet our long-range goals. But it appears that the power flows through a nexus in Arizona. And then it looks like it will, in the future, have a new power line that crosses Anzo Borrego Desert State Park. So the question is is there an alternative when receiving this distributed energy from New Mexico and Arizona to utilizing existing lines or rerouting that line around Anzo Borrego State Park? A number of organizations I'm also affiliated with, including Sierra Club and Samuel Lawrence Foundation, is very concerned about the disruption that would cause by a massive new power line crossing Anzo Borrego. So just like an update on that.
Staff, is there any response to?
We have Gordon Samuel on the line. I think he wants to comment.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Mr. Samuel.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Thanks, Martin. Yeah, thanks for the question. Yes, we do have power coming out of the San Diego wind farm in eastern New Mexico. That project started delivering here in about the last 30 days. We're excited about that. We do need wind in our portfolio. It does come across a line connects to the switchyard, which actually is a delivery point as well. And probably one of, if not the biggest power trading hub in the Western US. So I want to separate that project that is delivering today as we speak from your second question or statement related to a potential future line. And I think you may be referring to the Golden Pacific Power Link that is at least originating out of the Salton Sea area and eventually will terminate at a future substation north of the Songs nuclear station. That routing of that line is not been determined except for the starting point and the end point. That is a project identified. And SDG&E is adding it for the CalISO. They're taking public comment now on what the routing of that line is. So I will say though, the purpose of that line is to access clean energy in the form of geothermal. The Salton Sea area, it has an abundant amount of untapped geothermal that is renewable. That is 24/7, that would help entities like Community Power meet our goals renewable by 2035. More to come on what the final routing of that line is, but it does access an area of a resource that we need. So I'm happy to answer any other questions you have on that.
Great answer. Quick follow-up. During our briefing...
Your mic, please.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
You need to press it. There we go.
During our briefing, that we would be using the new SDG&E Golden Pacific Power Line to transmit power from New Mexico and Arizona to San Diego Community Power. If that's the case, I hope we do some investigation as to whether we can have an alternative route for that line. I would like to see it, or route that line around just some very sensitive habitat, and the Sierra Club.
Thank you.
Okay, just, sorry, Chair, just
yes.
to be clear, the wind from New Mexico is independent of this future line that's being referenced. Okay, the wind is already today and will continue. The routing of it, EBD and SDG public comment on the routing of that line as we speak. So I hear your concern, and that's why they're going out and engaging the public on what that future route will look like.
Good, thank you.
Do any other members have comments or questions on this item? Okay.
Mr. Chair, we need to take two votes, one on number 3 and one on number 5, please.
Okay,
Separate
it's two
votes.
separate votes,
Yes.
but we can do it consecutively, okay.
Make a motion to approve number 3.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Pike, seconded by Montero Adams. Clerk, please call the roll.
Committee Member Anderson,
Aye.
Committee Member Emerson,
Aye.
Committee Member Hammond,
Aye.
Committee Member Hippian,
Yes.
Committee Member Hoyt,
Yes.
Committee Member Santos,
Aye.
Committee Member Sclafani,
Aye.
Committee Member Sumner,
Yes.
Committee Member Vasilakis,
Aye.
Secretary Pike,
Aye.
Vice Chair Montero Adams,
Aye.
Chair Harris.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay.
And with that, I'll make a motion to approve number 5.
Okay, we have a motion on number 5.
And seconded.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Committee Member
Aye.
Committee Member Hammond,
Aye.
Committee Member Hippian,
Yes.
Committee Member
Aye.
Committee Member Santos,
Aye.
Committee Member Sclafani,
Aye.
Sumner,
Yes.
Committee Member Vasilakis,
Aye.
Secretary Pike,
Aye.
Vice Chair Montero Adams,
Aye.
Chair Harris.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, so, the first item on our tonight's agenda, after consent, this will be item 9, presentation of the capital investment plan and quarterly risk oversight committee report. Does staff have a presentation?
Kick us off.
Okay.
Again, good. Matt Clark, your acting chief executive officer. San Diego Community Power and our fiscal year development for 20 proposed budget is designed specifically to provide affordability. It's not lost on us, as I mentioned earlier, that many of our customers are dealing with affordability, not only here in San Diego, but around the state. Our cities are struggling with difficult budget decisions, and businesses to weigh the cost of keeping their doors open, to make difficult trade-offs to face today's costs. Staying focused on essentials, long-term stability, and the best value for every dollar we spend. It's aimed at providing value and stability today, while again preserving our ability over choice, competitiveness, and again, cleaner energy and renewable electricity by 2030. But it is also more about balancing the budget. It's about how we translate our mission into outcomes that the customers that we serve can feel. Whether through competitive rates, meaningful programs, or the energy market. So our team has developed a very data-driven, disciplined approach to our fiscal year development process. Our goal is, again, to protect customers from a volatile market. We're making for those results. The bottom line, again, is that our budget reflects a disciplined approach to doing exactly to make smart financial decisions and deliver reliable to all the communities we serve. So with that, I'll hand it over to Chris Doe, our senior.
And Chris, before you start, I just wanted to remind our committee members that questions during clarify, talked about is the end of the presentation for the full discussion on the item. Thank you, Chris, go ahead.
Good evening, Community Advisory Committee members. Presenting a portion of the budget this evening. So with this first slide, through the times in the first few years of focused on growing our reserves. And since 2023 on board, we have grown and we have built reserves and we're mature agency now. We have built reserves. We want to, keep those rates down and for our customers. And staff work. March, April, and to get a preview and draft budget, and we do take feedback, and we have updated that budget. And I'll get into details presented to you in June from the advisory committee here. Next slide, we have a comparison for this fiscal year to the proposed budget. Comparison. So I'd like to start off at the very top. Year over year, this also impacts the cost of energy. You will see a large decrease in the cost of energy, but that ultimately is offset by the reduction in revenues. We do see a slight increase in energy. Take feedback from the board to lower that. This right there is going to be showing that we have lowered our contribution to the capital investment plan. This is in taking a commitment from capital investment plan. Capital investment plan will remain. We're just having a lower contribution. And what that ultimately entails is that we have a $3.9 million net position. This is an accumulation of considering affordable rates and keeping the lights on for ourselves. So I would like to pass this on. Committee members. Fundamentally, the strategy for the agency is always to preserve customer affordability, competitively, that strategy in play. You'll remember back in December 4, 2025, my colleague and Jeff Harris, you nodding your head. I know it was a really long presentation. Similarly, this pretty long presentations to the preserve affordability. This budget really is make sure that we're there's kind of gas price chart over time. We use this when prices go from low to high.
snapback. What happens with the PCI snapback? Prices go from low from high to low. That's $50. So when that happens, STG needs to remain whole for that difference between $50 and $10. There's no snapback that occurs. There's no reserve build that occurs. It's really just managing to a stable price. So just to peel back a few more layers there. They publish these things called market price benchmarks. They kind of forecast what they think the energy prices are going to be for this upcoming calendar year. So back in October, the CPUC thought that renewable prices were around $9 to $10 per megawatt hour for that renewable energy. So that's need to be made whole because of that price difference. So the second factor here that's also in play with energy costs, energy. We're also similarly seeing a dip from energy from what we projected. And then kind of the third factor that affects the PCIe is resource adequacy. Those prices, that big third factor, doesn't affect the PCIe snapback as much. Rate reduction for the customer. In this case, the budget projects a double deduction for the customer for SDCP customers. But when that happens, the customer has to pay the PCIe. The PCIe is increasing because STG needs to be made whole. Fundamentally, we're seeing less revenue. It's a double-digit rate reduction. We're being squeezed by PCIe, and then we're just collecting less revenue for what we never bring to the board. To the CAC upcoming year in January. Look at the stress test scenario for community power. There's kind of two still real factors I could compare. But what we did, we looked at a low price scenario and a high price scenario to see what are the relevant possibilities that can still occur. The opposite reality kind of at the 95% level, where prices increase cycle. So there's like another 5% chance that our reserves can grow all the way up to 455 days cash on hand. Closer to that stress test scenario. road summer factor. We do expect to return back, or we do expect to contribute a big portion of our reserves to that rate stabilization reserve that Jeff Spangler had presented earlier. Stabilization reserve because of that PCA. I think back when we were just PCA back, and fundamentally we've seen two different strategies play out kind of in the Northern California PCA territory. Strategy number one is simply increase, and that's kind of rate strategy number one, where in order to kind of counteract that PCA snapback, build reserves so that when the PCA snapback occurs, snapback, access those reserves and still preserve that affordability and rate competitiveness with SDG or reserves up to that 280 days cash out. The strategy is to grow to that level, kind of brace for impact PCA snapback should it occur, and then use those reserves to give back to the board in October with a potential rate stabilization rate deferral. This is fundamentally why we're anticipating a smaller net margin because of what we're seeing in the market. So that's kind of the operating budget side. And with that,
good afternoon. My name is Will Weissman, Associate Director of Finance for the Capital Investment Plan. The FY27 capital budget continues to be driven, in particular, continues to be the driving force behind the capital budget. $3.1 million dedicated to SD rent in FY27. Standing up community-driven programs to deliver energy efficiency. And allocating $3.5 million to support incentives for additional program participants to offset pilot programs, with a combined $2.5 million to focus on additional customer segments while continuing to focus on peak load shifting. To round out the highlights, the budget allocates $1.5 million to software platform to help customers reduce usage during high costs on peak periods. Capital budget. As this is a capital planning tool, no appropriation is being requested beyond the first fiscal year. And externally funded projects and programs, along with $8 million in internal funding, for a total capital million over the outlook period. External funding sources include public purpose program funds and grant. The CIP includes, as Chris mentioned, the CIP includes appropriated prior capital investment plan, $1.7 million over the outlook. Carry forward amounts are subject to change and will continue to be updated during fiscal year. So just to tie the CIP and capital budget being proposed for FY27, $8 million for internally funded programs is included in the operating budget. This is funded through a mix of net operating revenues for general benefit programs and non-operating investment income for programs with restricted program eligibility. such as those designed to support communities of concern. As mentioned, $63.4 million in external funding has been previously authorized for appropriation. And with that, I'll now like to turn it over to Gordon Samuel, our Chief Commercial Officer, who will go over our power services budget.
Before Gordon,
Yeah, of course.
I did have a clarifying comment. Okay. So there is the $3+ million for the solar battery savings program.
Correct.
But I saw that there was a carry forward of $10.8 million. So overall, the program funding isn't being reduced.
That's
the
right.
fact that so much of the funds previously is available to carry over.
That incremental funding strategy, so we're able to meet those kind of funding objectives over the outlook. As you look at kind of the outlook, there's kind of those projected contributions in future fiscal years, just to meet that obligation as those programs are implemented. That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Samuel.
I'll be speaking to this slide on the power services. Power of our customers has the single large impact event. We strive to provide cleaner, relatively priced electricity, continue to prioritize these three main budget items by managing risk through procurement strategies, compliance at the lowest feasible cost, and using improved forecasting and analytics. Late in 25 and early 26, the board approved several third-party agreements that we brought forward related to our scheduling coordinator that resulted in, which will result in a reduction of over $130,000 for this fiscal year's budget. In addition, we brought on a third-party storage optimization tool. This is needed now that we're bringing on our battery storage systems, whether they're paired with a solar resource or standalone. This will provide us visibility of when to charge and when to discharge in order to bring the most value to our customers. We will start doing our own internal load forecasting. We were outsourcing that before. This is going to result in a slight increase as well. And in order to perform these functions, we do have one proposed position for the Power Services Department and a load forecast manager. Turn it over to the...
All right, thank you, Gordon. Jack Clark again, covering this first slide on operations. As you all know, the operations section ensures that community power functions effectively and efficiently across all departments. Operations drives the implementation of the agency's strategic objectives through internal coordination, collaboration, and operational excellence. The team oversees things like internal governance, agency-wide administrative systems, and policy development. And as you are probably aware, we're also responsible for engagement with our customers and stakeholders at all levels, as I mentioned earlier, including the Community Advisory Committee, which means that we do hear from our customers on a day-to-day basis in all forms and formats. And our work also highlights and promotes transparency and accountability. By and large, the operations section of the organization is holding steady on its budget. We are proposing a few key investments to enhance customer education, prioritize our data and IT infrastructure and security, launching programs that have been in development for a number of years now, and support new pilots that can help make the clean energy transition more accessible to all. So you'll hear from each of our department heads in a moment, and each of these teams, each of these department heads will share notable changes in this year's budget. And first and foremost, we'll start with Lucas Uto, our Senior Director of IT Data Analytics and Customer Operations.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Jack. For the record, my name is Lucas Uto. I'm the Senior Director of Data Analytics and Customer Operations. Good evening, Chair Harris, Vice Chair Winter Adam, members of the Community Advisory Committee. It is my distinct pleasure to provide an overview of two actually sections of my overall department. One is the IT and customer operations. These two they have been broken into two separate cost centers in the budget book, but both of those teams work hand in hand to provide reliable data-driven tools to our internal team and also to our customers at large. The budget highlights for the IT data analytics and customer operations department include an investment in artificial intelligence and data analytics managed services to create efficiencies and potential savings to our customers. Continued improvements in our billing metrics, particularly from the accuracy and the timeliness perspective, as well as effective customer communication that furthers transparency and clarity. And last but not least, as Jack mentioned, enhanced IT infrastructure and cybersecurity posture, which is critical to protect critical data for our customers. These obviously improvements entail that the IT and data analytics costs, at least in this proposed fiscal year, $519,000 to reflect targeted investments that serve our customers and improve long-term. Now, on the ops perspective, to announce to the CAC that we've been able to reduce our budget by approximately $1.3 million, predominantly driven by renegotiation of our contract with Calpine Energy Solutions. That is our back office data management service provider. And through that contract, we were able to, it took us almost a year and a half to negotiate it, but we were able to per meter fee and into a per account fee, which is saving the agency the approximately $1.3 million. These changes that improves both our internal operations and critically customer outcomes. Who is actually remote? The Associate Director of Legislative Affairs to introduce.
Thank you, Lucas. Good morning. Good evening, community advisory members. Patrick Welch, Associate Director, to you tonight. Our team of 5 monitors with a primary focus really on the state legislature and the California Public Utilities Commission. Here we have some minor adjustments to the budget. One, a reduction in federal lobbyist contract not being renewed. San Diego Community Power's primary focus in the policy arena is the state level, because we are what's considered a retail electric provider, and the state is our primary regulator. However, even with this budget adjustment, we will maintain visibility and ability to engage on federal matters through our Federal Trade Association and Community Choice Energy Alliance. We are a member of their Federal Policy Committee. And then we have a slight increase in regulatory council. We litigate commission, for example, costs that go in the power charge difference adjustment, to increase costs for labor, as well as increase number of proceedings. We need $80,000. But as you can see between the two major changes, there's department. And next, I'd like to turn it over to Colin's programs, and I'll remain online in case there's any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick. And thanks for having me. Colin said, I oversee our programs department and our initiatives. As many of you know, the department implements programs that primarily help reduce customer bills and increase access to clean energy technologies to our customers. Our section of the budget is the largest, next to Gordon's in the Power Services Department, and we feel that shows a clear commitment to our reinvestment back into our programs are primarily the advisory committee was instrumental in policy. We also work closely with industry stakeholders and our internal departments who you've heard from today, scalable as possible. So for the budget this year, our department, as you know, we administration of the San Diego Regional Energy Network, which is funded by public purpose funds, so not community power. Solar battery savings program, and the development of new suite of pilot programs. These pilot programs will really target customer segments that were not the focus of the budget. So primarily looking at non-residential, multifamily renters, and customer segments. We anticipate doing this all goal of 50% of our investments reaching those communities of concern, making sure we have system-wide benefit. So really make it available to our customers, help to benefit the grid, as well as to benefit their customer bills and their neighbors' bills as well. So with that, I will pass it to my colleague.
Thank you very much, Colin, and thank you, committee. For the record, my name is Jen LeBron, the Senior Director of Public Affairs for San Diego Community. The Public Affairs Department connects communities we serve, every department that you've heard from today. Our strategic communications engagement teams on the Public Affairs Department enhance brand identity and ensure transparency through outreach, media engagement, and public education. We also support you, our Community Advisory Committee, and work with the broader team at Community Power to ensure local priorities and community voices are reflected in agency-wide decision-making. Our job is to make sure customers and internal they need to understand Community Power's mission and the rates and programs they can use to become more sustainable and save money. All of these things previously fell under the marketing and outreach category in our budget. However, a notable change in this year's budget is that we've renamed this category to be called Strategic Communications and Outreach to better reflect the work we do daily. While marketing does play a role at Community Power, the majority of the work to get the initiatives and programs are extremely targeted. And so we wanted our budget to reflect that important work, importance of tailoring our approach to diverse audiences across our system. So we combined several legacy budget categories, which makes it appear that the category has increased about $100,000. However, there's no overall change in the non-personnel budget from the public affairs team. Our budget also highlights and reflects the expansion of programs and the need for professional staff to ensure we need our help can understand the options available to them and get those materials in a way that's easy to understand. Therefore, our biggest budget adjustments year over year include hiring, or hopefully hiring, a new cost recoverable SDREN outreach associate who can help with the boots on the ground outreach we know we're going to need in order to address communities of concern and other historically hard to reach individuals. The other position that is for a community engagement manager who can support CO Mollis in her support of the Community Advisory Committee, as well as provide strategic outreach coordination to encourage programs participation. We believe that these positions are critical to community power to deliver on the promises we've made to reinvest in our communities and help our customers seize the opportunities in front of them. All of these goals that we have for communications, marketing, and outreach are done to provide our customers with accurate, helpful information. And so now I will turn this back over to Jack Clark to close out the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. We're almost there. CAC. Thank you, Jen, and thank you to every member of the Community Power team. This each and every year, collaboration internally to do. And so thank you for the team for doing that. Just now really reflects us, but I think the values of this organization. You know, remember of our staff. So again, thank you to all of you. And the capital investment plan are more than just numbers. Through each segment of this presentation, hearing that this is our promise and commitment to stakeholders and our customers. Promises that we've been making over the years, and really, I think, the true promise of this organization. Blueprint for the building of a clean and equitable. And this budget balanced long-term fiscal discipline. I think you heard that quite a bit this evening, with near-term action, as well as continues our commitment to affordability, equitable programs, and organizational excellence. So as we move forward, we remain committed to listening to you and our customers, community power, not just as a utility, but as a force for good.
Okay, everyone on staff for that presentation. Public comment on this item? Okay. Well, I'm now turning it over to members. Questions, comments?
Of course. Yeah, thanks for all your extensive, details. I probably have too many questions to ask because it's hard to understand everything 100%, but I have a few questions. About 4 questions, I think. First one was related to, and they were talking about the CIP. I think, are you able to get slide 20 up there?
Go ahead.
And I just wanted to go over the CIP meaning and how it's used one more time. And here, so capital investment plan, it went from 21 to 8, and in parentheses you had 13.9. Can you explain again?
So these are the operating contributions to the CIP. So Will Wiseman did an improvement plan. So every year, project purpose, that carries forward to the next fiscal year unless it's de-appropriated by the board. So in this year, that 13.9 reflects a reduced contribution from the operating budget, but it's not a reduction to the capital investment plan. So last year, the operating, to the question earlier on solar batteries, those unspent proceeds from, or contributions from the last year are carrying forward. It's just a in this fiscal year to meet those kind of program objectives.
So capital investment plan in this case is for specific. Okay, and then, and I think around slide 28 or 30, they were talking about lower rates. I thought I heard 52 to 9. Sounds like an extreme amount of difference or change. Did I hear that correctly? Or, and how did that come about?
For renewable energy, what we're procuring energy in the open market for. So
62, not 50.
62, yeah. Renewable resources, specifically PCC1. Yeah, and then what we're seeing right now, so if one of our energy, that energy instead of $62, it's trading for around $9 to $10.
That's renewable energy.
Yeah.
So why did it change so drastically? Or what's, I mean,
Gordon Simon could speak a little bit more better than I could, but I think there's multiple factors. One of the biggest things that occurred was 2025. There was another one that ended in 2027, and when time periods happen, then all the load serving entities need to be like a certain percentage renewable. Kind of a drive to get more renewable for certain load serving entities that weren't ready. So there was a lot of demand at that time that kind of drove the prices. More compliant with the next compliance period. So we're not seeing the same kind of run up in prices and the same demand.
how did the CPUC make such a big misunderstanding? Or maybe you don't know.
That entered into these contracts years ago at these higher prices. The difference.
Well, yeah, this does, it's related to PCIe, right? Because it's $62. Right. So what happens is project at $62, and SCG brings their rates forward to the CPUC.
Mr. Chair, Gordon Samuel would like to comment.
Okay. Mr. Samuel.
In addition to the compliance period, which can drive some behavioral. I know earlier tonight, discussion, we talked about the amount of batteries, and a lot of these batteries are paired. There is an abundance of renewable. I would also add in those PCC1 prices in 2024 period a forecast what things will turn out to be, but they in the real time, that this is what things are trading for, as Tim mentioned earlier, and that's a direct function of the amount.
Could you go over what that covers? And you renegotiated the cost picture.
Absolutely. That's a very good question. Thank you, Member Emerson. For the record, my name is Lucas Ucho, Director of Operations. So Calpine, I think that actually changed the name. So it's called Data Management Service Provider. In other words, they handle all the back the usage receipts, billing, customer payments, it's our own procurement expenditure. And we have always wanted to renegotiate to get better terms, and we actually did. So effective as we're now in a new agreement with them, that provides a lot more clarity in terms of the service level agreements that we expect for the services that they're providing, and also a lower cost construct overall, because we were not interested in being charged a per meter fee. We wanted and lobbied very hard. In other words, the reason why that is saving us, one customer account, you could have multiple meters in your house, right? Like let's say you have 3 meters. Initially, or before this new contract, Calpine would charge us for that's saving us.
Okay, well, thanks for the explanation, and thanks for working hard on keeping the costs down. Thanks.
Are there any other comments, questions? Yes, Mr. Montero Adams.
Have you come back up? I do have. I don't know if this is 2 questions. Messy question. Feel free to address it in whatever makes the most sense. I'm thinking about the snapback that's created by the difference in the projection versus the actuality, and that being a formulation of the different vintages of the PCIA line. Would that conceivably impact a secondary smaller snapback in the coming years? Will all the vintages kind of work in unison? And then the other part of that question is, as of it being a high cost per megawatt hour to a low price, does it make sense that then year in 2028 we would see the reverse of that, or a stability phase? I'm just thinking about like the reserves. Like, I'm incredibly glad, but how does that impact the reserves in subsequent years?
Yeah, so through the chair, see if I can control this. I'm going to bring us back here a little bit. It's either, so we put a version of this slide back in December. Like we had different boxes and arrows. On that boxes and arrows chart from December, what we said was they're kind of cycles for like these ebbs and flows. It's either anywhere between a 2 to 4 year cycle, where it goes from like cycle to cycle. So then but I should preface this by saying we have no idea. Like if we knew how to predict this, we'd probably be like, trillionaires like Elon Musk. We're not, but I think reliably we can say that that cycle plays out where it's 2. And as you go from that PCA snap
we end up using those reserves and the staff act happens, it'll go down. And then we'll have to wait. Let me think about that. Yeah, because I mean, it would be, I could be mistaking, so Lucas, you could say me if you want. But when those energy contracts are fundamentally market price benchmarks, so that's kind of why I say it'll kind of, no matter the vintage, it'll go up or down.
The first sets of vintages were so close in compact with each other, and having the south vintage move in unison, or if they would end up having different volatility to them. But thank you for that. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you very much to staff. I know how hard it is to put a budget together, and so I really appreciate all the hard work that clearly went into it. I have a couple of, they may be newbie questions, so forgive me if I, you know, you've been over this before, but I'm just really curious, like, when I look at the budget, how do we compare to other CCAs? Like, how are we indexed against them performance-wise? Like, do we take our, it's like, is there a performance standard that exists, or and if not, is that something we might look at in the future?
Yeah, I can take a first crack at this, and Tim, feel free to so we are the, I don't know if there's an apples to apples comparison, quite frankly. There are 24 other CCAs up and down the state. They all have a different makeup. Right? They all have different goals. Many of them, if not all of them, are striving for 100% renewable electricity. But they're communities, so they're all a little bit different. Okay, you know, I think that suggestion is a good one. That's something that we can take back and take a look at. The second largest CCA in the state, so compared by load, we're similar to Ventura County. So Gordon spoke, he mentioned that, you know, power procurement budget, that line item is the largest in our budget. That's comparable to CPA. But when you look at some of the other things we're doing, we might be more similar to some.
Thank you for that. I think it would be to start thinking of, I mean, potentially if this is something that you would go down, just benchmarking, I think is so incredible. You had an index of the 5 most like community against those 5, and what ratios are they applying for each one of these budget categories?
I know that our finance team specifically is comparing and contrasting compares and to other CCAs. We're also looking at staff growth. We're also looking at number of issues. And again, the only thing is we've been serving customers, so we're the youngest, not to mention the second largest. And I think the maturity of this organization, the experience really reflects the budget that we've developed, and you know, well, quite competitively to our sister CCAs.
I think that's an important part of the, so if part of the story is to attract and retain customers, and also to begin to convince folks that they need to be, you know, for our journey to 100% renewable, then I think part of the storytelling is how well we're doing compared to other CCAs. And again, presenting doesn't have to be exhaustive. I just think if it's a competitive set of 5 or something like that, or 10, indexing them and saying, yeah, this is this, and then explaining why. You know, because there are differences, there's policy differences, and there's practical differences. So I appreciate that. I have just a couple more quick ones, Chair. Oh yeah, thank you.
Sorry, just transparently, we did cut out a fair just make
presentation or was procured that has been sped up this fiscal year is a software called Sequant. Sequant is it kind of it does a lot of stochastics, like stochastic, like model simulation curves. It looks at our historical load, and then it uses that to do a distribution of what might happen for back a lot of layers here. One of the things that we look at in that stress test is what we call, that's exactly what we showed on there. So then we showed what a 5% scenario looks like for our net energy curve. It's the combination of different events that could occur that make up a 5% net margin. It's up together like a 5% like net margin curve. So when you see that slide, that's kind of that you see that Ramsey.
So we should see that over time. Yeah. So that feels like something that not, and then there are things that are within our influence and things that are not. What ability do we have to influence PCI? I mean, I know we can't control
the topic. We're limited in trying to find solutions. And there's a proceeding right now, PCI proceeding happening. Every other community choice aggregator and investor on utility up and down the state, as well as our. So we're actively working on this in real time. We're hopeful that we can make change. Again, the structure of this is really to provide indifference, right? The intention behind this mechanism is good, but it's got to be updated because it's.
Good questions. Oh, yes, Mr. Hunt.
I don't have a question, so you make it easier, but just wanted to thank staff. I'm part of a lot of people and understandable, so thank you.
I'm not sure who's driving the slides. Could we see any one of the slides?
Okay. You know what? Sorry.
Yeah, I get
I was asking to bring up this slide for the benefit of the
CAC members and for some their inflows and outflows, it would be the trend of reserves over time. And I think there's another chart of
Yeah, it was a transit chart. Yeah, because you're right. That was a
how much is coming in, how much is going out, how will the reserves end up. And so if you project, actuals, his nailed it, right? There was a time when it was 30 days cash on hand. That's one number that you can look at and say, how go forward to your slide where you show the rate reduction. This one. So this chart, I don't know, again, I guess this is just general commentary for Community Power and maybe acting CEO Clark here. Speaking for myself and maybe for Chula Vista, we want to see power rates going down. Like this is what happens, looks like, right? But the other side of that is kind of the front matter of this presentation is the business challenge. As we come in organization and so on. And my comment is maybe reflecting on like mindset and the goals of community power is something to think about. Like not to say goes to zero, but cost of electricity ideally goes to zero. The cost of there's other costs involved with again managing programs. Needs to be some amount of revenue, but and not that I heard any of this from anyone speaking, but it's not the same as SDG&E where the line has to go up every year. If the cost of power is going down, that's what the community wants. And so how do you build an organization that can succeed in that environment? Number one, makes this organization successful. Number one, SDG&E and the other utilities, when they go to the PUC and they have a rate case and they ask for such and such, and they're seeing, others succeed with less. So, mixed messages on this slide, right? I understand there's a challenge to continue business with less revenue, but at the same time, rates going down is what we want. So, thank you.
Okay. This is a receive and file regular agenda item number 8. This is election of chair, vice chair, and secretary for senior community engagement manager to provide an overview of each
manager, and you can see an overview of each role on the slide before time's sake. Of the CAC. Each the nominee. If there is more than one name until a nominee receives a majority vote. Precedent during elections to be considered an election nominating member must ensure that the nominee to be nominated if elected will be for 1 year or until a successor is elected, with the option for officers to be re-elected for up to 3 one-year terms. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Izzy. Okay, Mari, do we have any public comment? Well, this is over to our members for discussion and nominations. With secretary or just need to turn the page. Do I have some nominations for chair from our members?
I'll nominate committee or vice chair Luis Montero Adams. I will
Who seconded, I'm sorry?
Yes. We have additional nominations for the position of chair. Okay, well, we have a motion and a second.
Committee member Anderson?
I think point of order, you don't need a second for a nomination for an office. All you need is a nomination. Another point of order, given that there's only one nominee, I move that we accept. Okay. Then I.
Committee member Emerson?
Aye.
Committee member Higlian?
Aye.
Committee member Swafani?
Aye.
Committee member Sumner?
Yes.
Committee member Vasilakis?
Aye.
Secretary Pike?
Enthusiastic aye.
Vice Chair Montero Adams?
I accept the
And Chair Harris? Yes.
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right, congratulations, Luis.
Thank you.
Okay, next, I'll take nominations for vice chair.
I just want to say, I think everyone, it's been member Ross to be vice chair.
Accept this one, okay.
I'll second.
Yes. Member Vasilakis, second.
And Ross, you said, who seconded? Thank
Matthew
you. Just want to make sure I have the
Vasilakis.
record straight. Thank you.
Okay.
Just accept it for the record.
Yes. Nomination has been seconded. Please call the roll.
Committee member Anderson?
Once again, a point of order, you should ask for additional nominees.
That's true. Are there any additional nominations? Motion and a second. Molly, please call the roll.
Committee member Anderson?
Aye.
Committee member Emerson?
Aye.
Committee member Hoyt?
Aye.
Committee member Santos?
Aye.
Committee member Scalfani?
Aye.
Committee member Sumner?
Yes.
Committee member Vice Chair Montero Adams?
Aye.
And Chair Harris.
Aye.
Committee Member Harris. Motion
Thank you.
carries.
Okay, congratulations. Next, we have the position, the role of secretary. Can I please have a nomination? Mr. Pike. Accept the nomination?
I do.
Okay. Other nominations for secretary? Okay, seeing none.
Committee Member Hithrian. Aye. Committee Member Hoyt.
Aye.
Committee Member Santos. Aye. Committee Member Squafani.
Aye.
And Committee Member Harris.
Aye. So at this point, before I turn over the role of chair to Luis, I wanted to just kind of get a sense if people want to take a couple minutes break. All in favor? Three. Okay, power free to excuse yourself silently if you need.
And after this election and transition, serve on this community advisory board for the last 2 years, and it's, you know, going back to your comments, Secretary Sumner, we were all growing through this process and learning so much about this organization. To continue in that for myself, and it's something that I will take with this leadership. I had the honor of joining when and now having the opportunity to serve under Chair Harris. I hope to continue their strong tradition and continue to make them proud. So thank you, staff, fellow members, CAC Vice Chair Ross Pike will be providing this report. Ross.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Ross Pike, representing the unincorporated community. Also included former Chair David Harris from La Mesa, Lawrence Emerson from National City, publicly available documents and data to better understand Community Power's programming impact, and developing actionable recommendations to support staff, the effectiveness in advancing the plan's objectives. Over time, the scope of this effort evolved to focus on summarizing slides that provide a snapshot of progress and key accomplishments. As a result, the information presented today is intended to offer a high-level overview and may not fully capture the breadth of ongoing activities and outcomes across all programs. Today, I will highlight a selection of these programs. Community Power Plan is ensuring clean energy investments to reach underserved communities. To do so, Community Power has committed communities of concern whenever funding rules allow, and external grants to expand access to clean energy, workforce opportunities, and bill savings. Through the San Diego Regional Energy Academy, Community Power has helped support 4 cohorts, including me and cohort 2, providing education on energy and equity. Community engagement helps increase awareness of available programs, and energy saving opportunities remain extensive, with more than 100 community events attended so far in 2026. Organizations sponsored or co-sponsored during the last fiscal year, and a continued development of videos and outreach materials for a website and social media distribution. Through the Solar Advantage program, or the Green Tariff, the Solar Advantage program expands access to renewable energy for renters and households that can top solar. Eligible participants receive 100% renewable energy service, approximately 20% bill savings, and renewable energy benefit or maintenance costs. Community Power has approximately 20 megawatts of capacity through that program, with about 5 megawatts approved as of April 2026, creating room for future growth. We evaluated results, including the Solar Battery Savings Program, which is $1 million to support solar and batteries for 16,200 battery installations as part of its pilot. The Backslash Readiness Program, or Disadvantaged Community Single-Family Solar Homes, funded roof homes for solar installations with 27 roof replacements completed, levied $850,000 in addition, and had an expected lifetime customer savings $36,000 per household. The equipment program fully expended grant funding and supported 32 food-serving businesses and nonprofits with energy-efficient refrigeration equipment. With grants and energy efficiency investments, the Clean Energy Grants have invested more than $1 million across 3 funding cycles to support local projects focused on youth education, air quality, workforce development. Looking ahead, the San Diego Regional Energy Network secured $124 million from the California Public Utilities Commission to launch energy efficiency programs throughout the region through 2027. These programs will support students, workers, public agencies, tribal governments, residents. In closing, overall, the first 3 years of implementation of the Community Power Plan demonstrate meaningful progress towards its goals through education, equitable clean energy, and external funding acquisition. The next phase will focus on scaling successful programs, improving data collection, leveraging additional funding, and continuing. And with that, this report concludes the work of the ad hoc committee.
Thanks so much for that report. Marty, do we have any public comment on this item?
We do not, Mr. Chair.
Perfect. I will now turn it over for any comments and or questions. Please, Member Anderson.
Do you have any specific? Do you have any specific recommendations for future as a result of your work?
Yeah. Okay, I think I can answer as a member of this ad hoc committee. We had ambitious goals for this ad hoc committee, only able to accomplish a certain amount. We thought the highest priority was looking what has been implemented, especially those benefit communities of concern, or fulfill the promise of reinvesting in at large. So we didn't get to the stage of recommendations, and that could be an activity for this committee.
Committee member Hoyt wants to speak.
Please, Member Hoyt.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I want to apologize to the board. I have to attend remotely. I am personally. I also want to commend our staff. I had the pleasure to attend in a wheelchair opening with the Imperial Beach Boys Club, and it was an honor to be how Community Power has helped them become a sustainable clean energy campus. And I appreciate Sin and Jack there, and the whole, and Taylor too. I'm sorry I'm not there. Thank you for a great meeting, and staff, thank you for a great meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that with us, member, and appreciate your dedication to the CAC body to recover.
I just want to thank you for all the work that you did with this. So thank you. Had some lofty goals, but we got through what we could. But that would not have been possible without you leading that charge. So thank you.
Seeing no other comments, this is a receive and file item, and no further action is needed. Thank you. We will now move on to item 11, update on the California Energy Commission's Equitable Building Decarbonization Direct Install Program. Turn it over to Nelson Lomelli, Senior Program Manager, to provide this presentation.
Thank you, Chair. For the record, my name is Nelson Lomelli. I'm a Senior Program Manager for Santa Community Power. It is really strange standing at the podium since I'm there. Thank you for having me and giving me this update. So it's about a year since we talked last about the program, the Equitable Building Decarbonization Direct Install Program, or what we do. I'll try to minimize my usage of EBD, but I may say it every once in a while just because it's a habit. So I wanted to provide just a couple of updates in terms of what staff has been doing over the past year since we got our memorandum of understanding. So, just a quick, the new committee members that what is the Equitable Building Decarbonization Program? So this is a statewide program that is going to invest no-cost direct installation of decarbonization measures into low-income or income-qualified homes. These measures, these decarbonization upgrades are meant to reduce energy consumption, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, improve indoor air quality. This program is only available to low to moderate income residents, so income qualified households in what are called initial community focus areas. And I will get to that in a couple of slides in terms of what are those areas. In terms of who's eligible for the program, in terms of property, this program is available for single family buildings, so that could be apartments or condos, and mobile target that we have for retrofitting program. We're anticipating our target just over 1,700 units, and we use the because a multi-family apartment, we have multiple units. So so we're targeting 1,700 units. We could potentially see an investment of over $40 million in our region from this program. So on the right-hand side, you can kind of see what those types of no-cost upgrades are that are available to the resident. The resident can goes through a series of called a program advisor, and they get to select what types of retrofits make the most sense for their home. So this program is funded by the California Energy Commission and by the state at large through the general fund. They won a competitive bid or competitive solicitation from the Energy Commission to be the administrator for the southern region. To 3 regions, northern, central, and southern. Each of those program administrator, and we are working with LA County as part of that. The southern region has the largest bulk of the budget for this program at $328 million. That is subject to change depending on potential. I don't have any visibility at the moment. It's all with the CC. But I did want to just say that that's 300 and the largest. It's over 55% of the total budget. The memorandum of understanding with LA County last April, $4 for marketing, outreach, and education, as well as staff time for this program. So for what we've been working on over the past couple of years as a timeline for the new map, 3 years in development, from when the Energy Commission kind of had the idea and started issuing these RFIs, or excuse me, requests for informations, to when we are now, where we are now, which is applications are now open, and we're going to start outreach pretty soon here. So earlier I mentioned initial that eligibility is limited to equitable building decarb program eligible in or only available to in these areas. So these communities were selected by LA County and approved by the Energy Commission with consultation with community partners like ourselves. The selection was based on a number of factors and criteria, some of which included climate vulnerability, fire, and pollution, being underserved by existing programs. So there was a number of analysis that was done by the program administrator, by LA County, and I wanted to focus our attention to the south region, or the ones that you see kind of in the teal blue area, which is Ramona, El Cajon, Storm, and Chula. And I wanted to what these ICFAs are, because you may see El Cajon and think this is a larger portion of that. So as I was mentioning, El Cajon, this initial community focus area, or ICFA, does include the city of El Cajon, but it also includes the city as well. So the list here that you see is not an exhaustive or list. What we're using in partnership with our community-based organizations here to direct the targeting of outreach and marketing. For what's called STORM, which is a lovely name, so that includes the region of San Diego, and you can kind of include it in the areas of San Diego. I won't name all of them, but it includes the historic barrios, Lincoln Park, and Mount Hope, and Mountain View, those areas. National City. So you can see those are, for National City, it's predominantly the communities west of Paradise Hills. So a lot of the central down core area and all the way to ICFA as well. So that bullet should have been etched to one side, but in the park, just again trying to give you place in terms of what these communities are, as well as you can East Lake and Telegraph Canyon Estate, general area of Chula Vista. So I mentioned that we are doing the marketing outreach and program, so that is really our key role in this program. So one of the ways that we are doing that is actually by activating our power network that our public affairs team and outreach team has stood up. So it's a new idea with the power network, which is to partner with communities to help do education and outreach. So we activated that the power network, and we sent out a bid to those how they could work with us, or what we thought might work with for this program. So we started with limited, there were varying levels of, and so we started with what you see here as a light, which is like more, so we adjusted the budget range accordingly. So to what we thought would happen for that. We were really successful. We had those, and we ended up partnering with 10 community-based organizations. You'll see 8 on the slide here because we are still waiting for budget approval for 2 of them, and procurement rules we're not allowed to. We just got news from the energy approval under budget, so fingers crossed we get that by July 1st. But you can see here some of the power network CBOs that we are working with. So that includes the Center for Community Energy, Good for Others, Groundwork, I Am Green, I Love With Clean San Diego Collaborative Project, and the United Women of East Africa. Again, there's 2 more that I want to name so badly, but I'm doing this now. And I'm really excited because part of this process is we just had our kickoff meeting to get today. So during lunch, we gathered all the community-based organizations and started talking with each other and coordinating on the type of strategies and activities that they can be involved with to get the word out about the program. Start ideating around what are some of the barriers and some of the strengths of the coalition as a whole. And we had a really good meeting. We received a lot of really good community-based organizations. One of the things that I really wanted to do and strive for is, as we all know, reporting to a government agency, especially a state-level agency, can be quite burdensome, and so reduce that burden on our community-based organizations. And it seemed based on the kickoff that a lot of them were really appreciative of that and really like that reporting purposes. So I'm really excited about that. We are going to be coordinating across all of those organizations to make sure that we align on a semi-common initial community focus areas in the communities. And I want to remind, this is a program, so this will go all the way to 29. So this ramp reach and make sure to test messaging in the present. So in addition to working with and coordinating with organizations, the core of this is really to encourage residents to submit an enrollment form so that they can be part of this program. We're also going to be coordinating with our member agencies to receive the information that they need and the resources that they need. Other San Diego-based work called community partners with LA County, so that means organizations that have a direct contract with LA County. So that includes Great Alternatives, Clean Energy Alliance, our sister, the San Diego Urban Sustainability Coalition, as well as the County of San Diego. So we're going to be working with them and coordinating with that, with the organizations and agencies to make sure that this program is successful and that we hit our retrofit targets. Wow, good segue. So I wanted to just kind of give an update on terms of what our retrofit targets are, so what the program has set out for us. California region, so this is all the 9 counties that make up the southern region, so you can see close to 10,500 units as a goal. When we start to dig down into San Diego, this is inclusive for just our region, we have as our targets. So we're looking at close to 1,400 units that we are targeting to retrofit as part of this. So we understand that we're going to have to go that we will have to do, and you can kind of see this ramping phase that in terms of the units, the goals that we have to hit. Mr. CCA has, you can see that that's the number that I mentioned about earlier that equates to about $40 million in potential investments. And I wanted to end with a project, which was a really fascinating project. So as part of the setup of the program, the Energy Commission, they called Rapid Start projects. So these were projects that were shovel-ready, which is really hard to make a shovel-ready program for a new program. But essentially what they wanted to do is see a project, go through the idea of this program and see what are the barriers, what are people encountering as potential issues that we need to solve before we launch this program. And we were actually really fortunate that San Diego, in particular our region, was selected as the sole rapid for the Southern California region. So the LA County worked with McKinney Manor, which is a senior housing facility in Southeast San Diego, to test out the program delivery and gather lessons learned through this process. So for these units, so there were 50 units that were retrofit for this Rapid Start project. All of the units got new heat pump water heaters. They got induction range, as well as updated wiring to support those electrification measures. And so that we can see the picture on the right is the ribbon cutting that was held at the end of May with Commissioner McAllister from the Energy Commission, and as well as commissioners from the Air Resources Board to really showcase this project. So really excited about this, and this gave us a lot of lessons learned, in particular about permitting and how do we go working with permitting on that process. So in terms of next steps, you see that this says hold a kickoff meeting because initially this was an early meeting, but we have held that kickoff meeting. So now we're going to be initiating our marketing, outreach, and education. Our CDO partners are now ideating and thinking about what are the strategies for this next quarter. And then, of course, our member agencies and sharing resources across the board to make sure that as well. So with that, I will turn it back for any questions.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Nelson, for that fantastic. Marty, do we have any public comment on the site?
Rob is here to speak.
Please.
You know, I waited a while to say this. Just as I got done thanking you guys, I had the third comment, right, from the consent calendar, and then you guys heard a presentation, hence he pulled it, and then I didn't get to comment on it. So I retract my and give it back to reality, right, of when I get this right in front of my thank you. This kind of goes into the San Diego 350, because you guys are funding division. I mean, go look on their social media. You guys are funding them to call them a fascist, throw all these hate protests, right? This is what you guys want to be known for, is funding that group that pushes the messages. Other groups aren't as nasty with some of their advertising. But I don't think any of you guys are looking at the same advertising I am. If you guys are giving, how much was it? 80,000 to San Diego 350? I mean, like I said, I'm all for being reasonable with people. And you guys wouldn't fund a hate group on the other side, yet you'll fund that hate group, right? Okay. You know, the funny thing about all this, we're going to help the poor, right, is that do you think they own those landlords are going to get approved to help the poor people? When you talk about barriers, like you know exactly what the barriers are, right? How that manor that we just showed, it looked just renovated, and then we're going to go through retrofit or just renovated place according to the pictures, okay? How many of the low-income housings that are being, and then you guys want to put presentation that says per unit it costs $25,000. So for the 400 that we're trying to help over 4 years, right? Now you're going to invest $25,000. Like I said, you got to be smarter than this. I mean, I'm poor. Do you think I own my home? No. So it's not going to me. It's going to the person I pay the rent to, right? You know, I'm sure I already know. It's just when I hear about all the money, right, going to pay for marketing instead of going to help people, just wonder where the priorities are in helping people compared to like paying people to do. It's like the homeless industrial complex, right? You guys just want to be the power company.
I will now turn it over to the CAC and questions. Let's share Russ.
Very informative. Can I ask, Ernie, why didn't we have any allocation to support mobile home? I asked if, Marty, can you take it back a couple slides? Where it was the break any mobile homes in our region, I was just curious why.
Yeah, that's a good question, and I will have to get back to you in terms of why we didn't have any. That is to say, those are targets, so that doesn't necessarily preclude us from doing work in mobile homes. And so that's actually one of the areas that I want to focus on, is making sure that we're reaching out to areas in mobile home parks to make sure that that is doing, because I want to exceed the targets that we've been set out. But yes, I will double check and get back to you.
Thank you.
Member Vasilakis?
Thank you for the presentation. That was very, very informative. I was wondering, in terms of the permitting, do you feel muscle memory in terms of being able to process these types of requests? Like, is the relationship between the city and community power and the actual decarbonization?
I would say yes, because when they started this process back and forth, and took 6 months, about 6 months for them to get through the permit on the heat pump water heaters. And so we've been learning a lot through this process, and the really nice thing is that the team that is implementing the program, ICF, is also the team that's going to be implementing the San Diego Regional Energy Network single family home as well. And so there's already, we work with each other about lessons learned and how do we utilize some of the resources that the REN has, the Regional Energy Network has, to support further education on permitting and some of these other challenges that are being identified.
Thank you.
Secretary Sumner.
Thank you for the presentation. It's very, very good. So some of this, I just want to piggyback on that last line of questioning, which is, I think this is going to be sort of documented, in order to improve the permitting process going forward. Because, I've had a lot of experience dealing with permitting, and sometimes, when staff turns over, lost gains. So is there a way to lock in some of these efficiency gains?
Yeah, definitely. Our role at San Diego is very limited in terms of what we can do with the permit. I mean, I love to bug LA County and make sure that they're doing these kinds of documentations and those pieces with the team. And then it also helps that those lessons learned and everything is being documented as well by the REN team to make sure that that program is streamlined as well as that we're giving those educational resources to the permitting staff at the counter so that it doesn't need to go above them or anything of that sort.
That's fantastic. Even if you just document it as like a best practice that you reuse, taking the extra step to write it down when you're done is so incredibly valuable, and all that hard work should, hopefully be able to. Thank you.
Member Harris.
Yeah. I just wanted to clarify, there was a comment by the public that the complex in the picture was newer looking, and in fact it was the McKinney Manor was completed in 2005, so 21 years ago. Probably in need of
Seeing no other guys saying thank you, Nelson, that was, oh, sorry.
Sorry, speaker, okay, I had, so let me just clarify, so the 1.4 million for outreach is for the San Diego area? San Diego Community Power?
Correct.
Or we're not doing the LA at the same time, just, or?
Just us,
So
yes.
that's, the focus of that is to get your program.
Correct.
So the 1.0 is for 5 years.
Correct.
It's spread out over that time. And they'll have workshops, you're still evolving. How are you going to put that into effect, the outreach? Are you, is it in your own staff, or you're hiring vendors or firms to go out there and do the outreach?
Yeah, so it's going to be Megan Phelps, who unfortunately couldn't make it today, but she's been instrumental throughout this process in setting it up. So we are going to be helping the type of outreach. We contracted with community-based organizations, and so they're going to be the ones that are going to be in the community outreach, giving out materials, doing presentations. That does include workshops, and so at this initial phase, right, it's going to be a lot of focus on going to existing areas or existing presentations. But this is, again, multi-year. It will include workshops that were resident about this, know what the program is, can come in and potentially sign up on the spot or complete applications, right? There's the ideas that our CDO partners have brought to us have been really exciting, and they'll be the ones who do this.
Okay, so, and I would encourage that they do outreach to city council, at least do a presentation of how the program works and how the communities could benefit from it. So for a minute, over 5 years, getting people signed up, who approves how the money is going to be set? That goes back to LA, and they're the headquarters of this program?
Correct, yeah.
Right. Okay, and then the money has been, a certain amount has been outreach in the area. Okay. And yeah, I live in National City, and there's also renters, maybe over 60%, and the 40% are owners. So that is, I think, the challenge of how do you, and I think there's a way for everybody to benefit, the people living in it, even if they're renting. How do you envision addressing some of that, and to more focus for renters, more focus for owners, or and if it's focused for owners, I mean for renters, how does it?
Yeah, it's a
renters. Did I answer?
Yes.
State my question clearly.
Yes. Yeah, so that's part of the guidelines that the considered when they started this whole process of what does equitable building decarbonization mean. And so renters are eligible for this program. For the program, we do need the sign-off of the landlord, because we can't make upgrades without their approval. So we're eligible for this program, and there's particular stipulations in the participation of the program that say that like the landlord can't increase rent past a certain point for 3 years after these upgrades have been done, that the landlord cannot kick the resident out after the upgrades have been done. So tenant protections to ensure that we get renters in this process.
So try to get some immediate as well.
Yes,
okay.
Correct.
Thank you, it's good to know. Thank you.
Again, Nelson, thank you so much for the presentation. I think that this is arguably the CDO integration programs that I've ever seen with many of these organizations, and feel strongly just the component of working with trusted messengers, creating a thoughtful grant process, as well as a reporting guide. Just top to bottom, this looks fantastic. So thank you so much for all of your hard work. This is a receive and file item, and no further action is needed. Thank you so much for your presentation and time. We will now move on to item 12, an update on the 2026 community power rates. I will turn it over to Aaron Liu, Rates and Strategy Manager, to provide this presentation.
Good evening, everybody. One last time. Let's just My name is Aaron. I'm the Rates and Strategy Manager at Community Power. And this is really a recap of our May 1st, 2026 rate change. We want to make sure everyone here is up to date on any rate actions that the organization takes. So in terms of the timeline, taking us back, this is a partner presentation to what we brought before this committee in the spring. Okay, so back all the way to January 1st, 2026, Community Power and SDG&E implemented new rates, and then SDG&E filed a advice search to implement their April 1st, 2026 rate change. And through our thorough review and due diligence, we found errors in their filing. SDG acknowledged those errors, they corrected their rates, and they still implemented their rates on April 1st with almost no time for us to react to that filing. Thus, we had to push out our rates to be effective on May 1st, 2026, thus the delay. Because previously we planned to have our rate to make one on April 1st as well, in parallel with SDG&E's to make sure the customer experience is streamlined. So even though it's that delay, just to kind of refresh everyone here in terms of the mechanics of how we set our rates, we reviewed SDG&E's April 1st, 2026 generation, or sometimes we interchangeably call it commodity rates. From there, we assessed the PCIA, we talked about that extensively today, the indifference adjustment, and those, as well as the generation rates, differ by customer class. They also differ by vintage year. And then we also take out the franchise fee. And from that, we apply, for this rate change, our discount, and then we come up with our May 1st, 2026 community power rates. And going back to kind of the vintage of the indifference is make sure all of our cutting and experience the same set of rates in terms of equity. We do have to have 3 sets of rates because we have 3 sets of vintages. Vintages are signed to customers when they depart SDG&E service and come to our service, and we have 3 enrollment periods, thus 3 vintages. And since, if you take a look at the table at the corner right, we start with equal SDG&E generation commodity rates, we subtract PCIA, we subtract the same franchise fee, we come out with 3 different sets of community power rates, and in order to equalize that, we have to do some math to ensure that the 3 sets of rates that we are offering our customers are so it's important, and we always do this in terms of the methodology to make sure it's a balanced approach for all our customers. The April 1st SDG&E rate change really is driven by what came out of the general rate case phase 2 that closed last year. A little bit different from the usual change that SDG&E takes in the beginning of the year. This one is really, again, to kind of implement what their requests were that came out of the second phase of the general rate case, which was really for revenue design. The last rate case was a few years ago, so some of these items did really need updates. One of them here is that SDG&E did implement on a new medium commercial customer class. They carved out some of the tariffs from the small commercial customer class to create this new medium commercial customer class to make sure the cost of service for serving that class is really appropriate. Change was also driven by revenue updates. So SDG&E usually in their general rate case, they update how revenue is allocated to different customer classes in order to make sure the cost of service of serving those customer classes are appropriate. So that was tweaked the SDG generation and PCI rates a little bit here. And then the last that came into effect on April 1st, we talked about before was the time of use super off-peak extension or expansion. So now 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is a super off-peak period throughout the week. Here, just a reminder in terms of the rate development policy objectives adopted by the board. Going back here, customer affordability, probably top of mind, is one of the pieces else. So we take this multifaceted and as balanced of approach possible to every time when we adjust our rate. Highlight our rate adjustment. The good news is that we wanted to adjust these rates to react to SDG&E's April 1st rate adjustment to really continue and sustain our this compared to SDG&E's default generation rates are 4% discount for power out product and 10% discount for power based product. We want to make sure we're maintaining these discounts and maximizing the affordability for our customers. And then net revenue, operating expense, and other key metrics on the financial side are up here as well. And then this approach checks all three boxes of focusing really on customer affordability, make sure that we're maintaining reserves to react to any risks that were talked about in the earlier presentation, as well as maintain credit rating metrics to ensure that there's sustainability for the organization. The last few slides, they are all pretty much the same, just for different customer classes. I'll take a little bit more time on this one, just to really show a comparison of a illustrated residential customer in terms of the different rate components, as well as the different products that Community Power offers. Our Power Base, most affordable product, Power On default product, and our 100% renewable product, Power 100, compared to SDG&E's product, as well as the differences in terms of percent savings. Due to some rounding, here it should be 10% for Power Base or Power Out. Pretty much the savings are consistent for small commercial, medium commercial, since large CNI have larger bills. To just cap off and conclude my presentation, it is a deep discount that we started offering, and we want to sustain that to maximize customer affordability for the 5.1 under all of our products, the renewable portfolio. And of course, rate adjustment still maintains our current reserve levels to work towards our target, satisfies our credit obligations, and then prepare for any potential market fluctuations. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Aaron, thank you. Perfect. I will now turn it over to the CAC members for comments and questions.
Hey, thanks for that and your hard work on getting the rates very reasonable for our customers. I noticed, and I had heard this before, that it used to be from 10 to 2 p.m. was in March and April, because there was a lot of sunshine and not a lot of air conditioning demand, that it was cheaper rates. And now I see it's going full year.
That's right.
Okay, so two-part question. Why? Are we getting the word out to people so they know they can benefit from that?
Yes, well, the first one is to make it consistent across the state. So last, so they want. That I don't know. Probably a better question. So now across the state, you have that tends to super off-peak periods.
Is that because of the storage? Is that
That's
part of the reason?
That's exactly right. To grid condition.
Because I know some people are still charging at night because they think it's cheaper. And they don't know that it might be cheap, just as cheap from 10 to 2. So are we getting the word out, or how are we getting the word out?
Yes, so for the second part, we are getting the word out. So the public affairs team, as well as our customer operations team, we reached out to customers. We have campaigns. We have a dedicated page on our website. So we continue to make sure the communications are going out.
Start spreading the word myself.
Appreciate it.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, thank you again, Aaron, for your presentation. This is a receive and file item, and no further action is needed. Thank you. Our standing items. As a reminder, the CAC may suggest agenda items for a board of directors meeting agenda by communicating with the CAC chair before and or after a regular CAC meeting. If suggested at this time, there shall be no included on the CAC agenda. Do any of our CAC members have recommendations on potential items? Seeing no recommendations, let's move on to committee member announcements. Please. I want to brag. Member Leanne?
Yes, that's great. Thank you. So, first, the bike event last month, and this weekend, to thank Community Power on behalf of Encinitas and the
chance to meet with any members of the public who are here in person or remote to talk more about regulatory peculiarities that, I don't know if I'd say consequences, but certain effects on the ground that are obscure. And so if that's of any interest, I'd be happy to sit down and talk at any length. So, thank you.
I just want to thank Rob from the public for letting us know about that link. I didn't know that, so thank you. Chair, and Sean is our secretary. I promise it's not as scary as I got nominated. And just thank you for leading us this last year.
please, member.
And if anybody is interested, I can share this with you after the meeting with email. I have a list.
Can you turn on your mic, please? Thank you.
Oh, okay. As usual, I have information on electric vehicles. I have, and if anybody wants, I have the top EV sold in the first quarter of 2026 with some surprising increases. Because you hear negative things that things are on the increase. So I have that list. You can buy. There's other ones that might fit your needs. have a YouTube portable EVs, because sometimes people think EVs are too expensive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to, as long as we're doing, as long as for all her support for this committee and for my work as chair. It really
All right. Well,
was that a goodbye?
A little goodbye, and I'll kind of give us a final goodbye, which is Sam and Emerson for having successfully served. While this means that this will be their last meeting in a member capacity in the coming years, and we'll a few quick are invited to join the community power at the following events: the San Diego Pride and the San Diego Padres game on Monday, August 10th. That brings us to the end of our agenda. I appreciate everyone's participation today during a regularly scheduled meeting on August 13th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. at the Port of San Diego.
Thank you so much. Good to see you around here.
Drop in a public comment.
Time flies.
The wave game, how you doing? Very good. Yourself?
Good.
Oh, it's good to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
Okay, well, some of the time they do.
Thank you very much.
That's where public comment is going to come in, right? Yeah. Have a good night. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. But we already got first place in our group. So,
James coming around. Yes. Mari, thank you so much.
I'll be there.
Operations report gives you the years, both those presentations are one night.
As always, I love your presentation. Thank you. I believe it.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was so good, sir. Thank you. Like I think all of us were just like. Yes.
I heard ask a lot of questions. And I I was like, look, I don't think my question is correct. I just know the Can I walk in?
You got the last one.
It was fantastic. Done with her mother. She is about 80. Her permanent resident. 5 o'clock. And to apply for 5 Yes. So it's been 5 years of lessons and conversation.
Where is it going to come from tomorrow?
She hinted at
I don't know if it is yet, but it might be Utah because they were locked in 5 years ago when there wasn't a local generation. Open that out, build them.
You got 2 minutes or anything?
Anyway, there's a lot to discuss. I texted you my number. I am going to go see I'll get back around July 4th. So if you'd like to hang out around July 4th or advertise, I'd be happy to.
Thank you for hanging in there and continuing.
Yeah, sure.
I'm fine.
This is the end.
Have a good night. Great work tonight, ladies.
What was your name again?
Robert.
I met you before at the Sweetwater.
Yeah, definitely.
Repeat of it. It doesn't seem to.
Yours? Larry.
I live in National City.
Yeah. No, I remember you.
So,
was it you or the other guy? He pulled item 3 and then he had staff do a presentation on his question. Comments on it.
oh.
So,
I did come to make comment.
well, they did it before, because it was supposed to be pulled before I did the comment. It'd be nice to hear the presentation. I'm not like a hard-head, great welcoming.
Your suggestions?
Well, I've had experience at this location that is unforgiving.
The security guy wouldn't let you in or something?
To a couple meetings with the JPA wastewater.
Oh, some other
Agency, correct. Yeah. I appreciate you tonight.
Oh, not a problem.
Great job. It's 100% different. So thank you. Too. So yeah,
I'm glad
it's,
that wasn't us that caused it.
no, but I wanted to let you guys know about it,
That
so that
happens
way if
sometimes,
it
you don't want it to happen.
I didn't want you guys to have to cancel the meeting because of it, you know, and I want to work with you guys and give you that opportunity. Hey, have your meeting. Yes.
Well, and you had some good questions about older.
I won't be there.
Renters, because that's
Yeah. Now that I've been voted in, I don't have to care. You're stuck with me no matter what.
Yeah. Some of that. I didn't know how this was structured, so that you understand raise the prices.
Everyone automatically opts in to base passes. Yeah. I would like to give a profit.
We want them to benefit. We want them to benefit, yeah. So, and having the solar battery savings program, I want National City residents to benefit from that.
That's why the reserves are there.
I'll ask next time, do they have similar clauses or conditions for owners who are renting? Because we want to encourage everybody to go solar and battery, in my mind.
Well, and Jack
for all the houses.
They were talking about how the PCAA is.
They used to say a chicken in every house, you know, or in every
so
pot.
The new legislation.
Solar and everything. I think that will really help and diversified and it was will be better.
I mean, you know, if you can get a bunch of older single homeowners that are, you know, those are the retirement funds, to help them retire better. You know, I don't see a problem in helping people. A lot of the programs in Chula Vista, they only help 10 people. So instead of helping
My name is Padre, so you can go ahead before I get there. And it's going to jam me up really bad from a traffic perspective if I'm not here.
They've been trying to get a workshops for months. And they were supposed to be coming to National City. I even announced it like in January, February, city council meeting.
I was trying to figure out dinner.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go?
So, because when they come to National City, I want to be there. I want to make sure that people hear about the program. And I'm going to double check how they've set it up for owners versus renters so that everybody benefits. Good president.
I appreciate you. Have a good night. Take care. You don't want to come back tomorrow with me here? Or the next day, the 25th? Have a good night. All right, you guys. Go ahead and end the stream. Yeah, just little by little. like you guys hear, when we work together, it works out best for everyone. And that's what this board kind of highlights. City of Chula Vista, I hope there's more cooperation in the future when I'm trying to advise about other boards. But yeah, thanks you guys for tuning in, and I don't know, stay tuned.